Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is a story about Naruto, get sent to the Highschool DxD world during the fight with Kaguya. Before we start, please do support for more awesome content, it really means a lot. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. And check the description for the creator of this great fanfic. So let's start this video. It's over. These were the thoughts of a blonde boy wearing an orange and black jumpsuit that looks like it's seen better days, floating in the dimensional gap covered in golden flames. Naruto, I am sure they'd all be proud of you, Kurama tried to console his first friend. Naruto was on the verge of tears, his lips quaking, all the exhaustion, hunger, and pain was getting to him. Play sadness and sorrow SD. You really think so, Kurama? Kakashi-sensei, Sakura, and Sasuke are all dead because of me, because I wasn't strong enough. Maybe if I really paid attention in the academy, maybe if I had spent more time training, maybe if I was more serious, maybe if I took the ash-culling bone instead of Sasuke, he would have made a difference. If he had both yin and yang sealed, then maybe he could have saved Sakura and Kakashi-sensei. I failed them all, Kurama. I'm all alone, Kurama, I'm alone. All the massive fox could do was let his partner vent out all his frustrations. It was a miracle they actually defeated Kaguya alone, but that bitch had one last trick up her sleeve, and here they are in this strange void. Now, all Kurama could do was let him vent before they actually find a way out of this place. The only thing keeping him alive is Kurama chakra mode, and that would soon run out. Naruto, I never knew you were one to spit on the sacrifices of your friends. They sacrificed their lives, so you could live, because they believed you could defeat Kaguya. They died with a smile on their face, and you owe it to them to live your life to the fullest, because that's what they'd want you to do. Naruto was in his mindscape on his hands and knees, listening to all of what Kurama said with realization dawning on his face. He had to live. He owed them that much, at least. Looks like I'm finally getting through to him, Kurama thought. The sooner he got Naruto out of this place, the better. His chakra was weak, and it barely helped in protecting Naruto from danger. This strange dimension was fighting against them, as if they were not meant to be here, but that's the least of their problems, however. Two massive signatures were lurking around in this space, and one of them was advancing to their location fast. These signatures, they were incomprehensible, in the sense that the massive, nine-tailed fox had never sensed an energy like it before. It was not chakra, nor was it natural energy. It was something else entirely. Get up, Naruto. You're not alone. 9 Bijuus all gathered around him with their fist, stretched out to make a fist bump with Naruto. You have me and my siblings. You might be the last of the elemental nations, but, through you, a new generation shall spring forth, and this time they will be guided into the light, and I promise you'll never feel loneliness, Naruto, and when you do feel it, you do what you always do. You find your precious people, so get up. Uzumaki. I will not have my Jinchuriki brood like an Uchiha. Shikaku, Kurama all surrounded him, cheering him on, and then Naruto knew he wasn't alone, or at least not entirely. Naruto brought his fist up, and bumped it with all the Bijuus' fist, and a ripple went through the water in his mindscape. Well, he sniffs, we better get out of here. Naruto wiped his nose with his tattered sleeves. The gears in his mind were shifting furiously, trying to find a solution. A way of the void they were in. And how will you get out, Uzumaki? Shikaku asked. After Naruto defeated him, he had a small amount of respect for him, and seeing him go one-on-one with Kaguya, made him respect Naruto even more. Trust me, Shikaku, I have a plan, but it's suicidal, and I don't even know where I'll land. Naruto was already out of his mindscape with the Hiroshin kunai in hand. I really hope this works, because I want to live, he thought before he got serious. The shinobi closed his eyes, burning an image of Konoha on his mind, through his entire body. He tried to envision himself in Konoha, and when the picture became clear, he let loose a great cry, summoning all the chakra he had left, not sparing a single drop. Ha! Naruto went full Kurama Sage mode, trying his best to hone in on a Hiroshin kunai, but couldn't find any. Time for plan B. Taking in a deep breath, Naruto closed his eyes for a second, and opened them to reveal that his former orange pupils with a black horizontal bar, and a vertical slit changed to purple with a ripple-like pattern. He clapped his hands together, and focused all of his chakra in his eyes. The ripple pattern was being overlapped with another different pattern entirely as a crack in the endless void of nothingness appeared in front of the shinobi. The Eye of Samsara had done a lot of feats he himself bore witness to, which were nothing short of miracles, but the blonde was inexperienced in its usage. Having a basic understanding of all universal things chakra-related, Naruto knew something was happening the moment he sensed a sudden change in the flow of chakra in his eyes. Naruto couldn't see, but something was happening to his eyes. He could feel it, and then, a crack appeared in the endless void of nothingness in front of the shinobi. Seeing this, he pumped more chakra into his eyes to strengthen the jutsu, and his efforts were rewarded when the crack widened again. Just a little more. Naruto tried to reassure himself, but he knew he was on his last leg. His eyes bled due to the strain put on them. His eyelids felt heavy, and his consciousness slipped away at an alarming rate. His body disintegrated bit by bit as the chakra cloak protecting him waned, thus, leaving him defenseless against the dimensional gap's corrosive nature. The only thing slowing down the process was Kurama, who was still pumping the last of his chakra into Naruto. The other Bijuus had sacrificed all of their chakra and had fallen into a deep stasis. Come on, come on, come on. He screamed as golden chakra burst from his body, and the crack widened enough for Hirshin kunai to pass through it. I'm coming, everyone. He screamed mentally as he threw his father's famous kunai into the crack. Hirshin no jutsu. Swish. He was gone in a flash. The blonde escaped death and the dimensional gap into the unknown. The crack in space closed up. He never saw the huge red western dragon comparable to the size of the first Hokage's wooden statue coming, nor a little girl dressed in a gothic Lolita outfit looking at where he was with keen interest. The little girl could feel the huge amount of chakra left behind by the creature that invaded her home, and it felt human. But no human could have survived in the dimensional gap. Someone strong was in the gap. I will need their power if I'm to remove Great Rat from my home, she mused. I will find you, stranger. Scene change. The moon was out in a certain town in Japan when a crack in space, the size of a human head, opened up in thin air. A three-pronged kunai came out of it and stuck itself into the ground, and a heavily bleeding body appeared right beside the kunai. I made it, I survived. The blonde Uzumaki couldn't move, but he was grateful he made it out of there alive. His eyelids were getting heavy, and all he just wanted to do was sleep for now. His partner's voice congratulated him before he became unconscious. You did well, Naruto, Kurama commended the unconscious blonde. An event that happened once was happening again. The mindscape was getting darker and darker, while Kurama couldn't stop his own eyelids from closing. It's alright, now that they were back home, or so Kurama thought. The nine-tailed fox's pupils dilated a fraction when he sensed something was wrong. Where did the Hirshin kunai send us to, Naruto? This isn't Konoha. Kurama knew everything was wrong when he sensed no chakra in the people living in this place, nor did he sense the Shinju or the massive chakra network created by Madara using the Mugen Tsukuyomi. Damn it, Naruto, where did that Hirshin kunai take us, and what was that jutsu? Kurama wondered. How Naruto was able to create a crack in space in the first place, before he closed his eyes, completely out of chakra. Time skip. 2 years later. I'm bored, guys, when Naruto Uzumaki sighed for the zillionth time that day. Kurama, I'm bored, he whined. Kurama, the strongest of all Bijuus, really wanted to unleash his greatest Bijudama on the blonde menace and the crappy apartment they called home, but refrained from doing something like that because the last time he and Shikaku had a misunderstanding. They ended up destroying their former apartment while Naruto was out on business. Something bad happened that day, something really bad. Though, Kurama still remembered that day like it was yesterday. The blonde descended on them like they were a bunch of teenagers, and the pranks that followed. Oh god, Kurama and Shikaku lost a part of them that day. Just ignore him. Just bear with it, Kurama. At least until reinforcements arrived. Shikaku, sleeping beside Kurama in his chibi form, communicated with his brother telepathically. I don't think I can take this anymore, Shikaku, Kurama voiced out telepathically. You have to, big bro, I don't want to be in his crosshairs. You do know what happens to those that get an insignia of a bullseye with a spilled ramen cup on it, right? Kurama just had to endure because he loved his sanity. Whoever's marked with the revenge of the fallen ramen sign is doomed for life, but luckily very few people knew a way out of this predicament. And what was the remedy, you ask? A sacrifice of 1,000 instant ramen to the ramen god Uzuramen was required. Of course, people thought this an urban myth, because no one could find out the identity of the ramen god. Anyone that tried to investigate Uzuramen became a living shell of their former self. Kurama, so bored, the blonde Uzumaki wailed. Kurama. Naruto called out his partner's name in a sing-song voice. Shit. This is bad. Where's Seiken when you need her? The kitsune was already sweating bullets, looking for a way out of the pickle he was in. Seiken would release this certain nerve-calming gas whenever Naruto blew a gasket, and it was pretty effective. Plus the fact that Seiken had a pure record out of them all helped her case too. She was in Naruto's grace. The damn slugs never broken a thing in this shitty house. How she did so was a mystery to the orange fox. Oi, Shikaku, would you help a brother out? The nine-tailed fox called for help. Don't drag me into this, man. Come on, I'd do anything. Every Biju for himself is the #1 rule of this apartment. Damn it. Okay, think, Kurama, think. What if I gave him a target? No, I'm not that heartless. Wait, maybe this could work. Bone roll in a skull or something. Kurama, the ever-lazy fox, has once again saved its hide. No, I'm not cut out for school. Naruto refuted. Then go get a job, boy. Last time I checked you had 9 mouths to feed. You lot don't need sustenance. Then get us out of this crappy apartment. I'm still sore about our old house, you rotten fox. Go visit the old man in that ramen shop you frequent so much. Naruto froze when he remembered the old man wanted to tell him something important. And just like that, the blonde was out the window, with a black muscle t-shirt, under an orange leather jacket, with the words "Orange is awesome" styled at the back, and blue skinny jeans with orange sneakers. Crazy the logs. Now that Naruto was out of the way, Kurama wondered where the adult magazine he was reading disappeared to. Scene change. Everything was going normal in Dalit ramen shop today. Customers were coming in and out of the establishment, ordering different kinds of ramen. A fly was buzzing around looking for its next victim to torment. The chefs were busy making ramen in the kitchen before a special globe started blinking red, and the alarm systems went frenzy. This could only mean one thing to the chefs of Dalit Noodle Shop. "Look alive, boys. I want all hands on deck." The top chef bellowed in a sergeant's voice while pacing in front of all the assembled chef in the kitchen. "There might be a chance that one of us is going down today. May the best chef win." He gave everyone one last glance and turned around. "Let's take down this son of a bitch." "Roger, Sarge," the whole crew shouted. After the short motivational speech by Hiroshima, the owner of the noodle shop, Naruto blitzed in, skidding to a stop in front of Hiroshima with his eyes narrowed. "Aim your best shot, old man hero," he challenged. "Oh, it's on, Uzumaki." And like that, all the chefs rolled up their sleeves with one goal in mind, to fill up the monster in front of them. Cups upon cups of ramen were sacrificed to the ramen god, but they all fell in front of his divine retribution. "He's pushing me to my limits. I don't think I can hold on much longer," one of the chefs lamented. The situation looked bleak. It was a clean defeat, and Hiroshima was a man of honor. "I concede, Uzumaki," Hiroshima admitted, "a clean defeat." "Ha, don't worry, old man. The day you defeat me is still thousands of years away," Naruto stated with his trademark ear-splitting grin. "Ah, that hit the spot," he sighed, patting his stomach. The Naruto face-off was a tradition that began 2 months after Naruto's first visit to the noodle shop. The official score is Naruto 34, Hiroshima 0. And the best thing about the Naruto face-off was that the ramen was free. Everyone knows that Hiroshima became a millionaire not too long after Naruto's first step into the door of Hiroshima's little shop. The old man called Naruto to the counter, and placed a bowl of broth in front of him. "I have a gift for you, Naruto," the old man said all of a sudden. "What is it, old man?" the blonde ninja asked with genuine curiosity on his face. "I sure hope it's a free ramen pass for a week. I'd become bankrupt," old man Hiro deadpanned. "Yeah, no shit," he agreed in a dull manner. Hiro dropped an orange envelope with a message on it with a title that reads, "To our number one customer." On the table. Naruto, who was slouching on the table, raised his head up when he saw the envelope, and found a golden key in it when he tore it open. "Congratulations, Naruto, I just bought you a new house in Kuo," the old man exclaimed. "Oh, old man, thank you so much." Naruto held the key like it was a lifeline tossed to a sinner in hell. "You deserve it, Naruto." The old man ruffled the blonde shinobi's hair. "I hope you actually find a new job and a nice girlfriend." Naruto was going to miss the Shingahashi district because of the old man and his noodle shop, but he had this feeling that Kuo wouldn't be boring like this shithole he landed in after falling into Kaguya's Umatsu Hirasaka, after sealing her off for eternity. "Thanks, old man. I better get packing then." "Don't be a stranger, Naruto," the old man said. "Goodbye, old man," Naruto waved at Hiroshima. Naruto was on his way home, bored out of his mind. He wondered if his lifestyle was okay. Was it something worthy of the number one hyperactive, knucklehead ninja? He didn't even know what hyperactive meant anymore. The blonde Uzumaki quickened his pace, because he wanted to see how the Bijuus would react to the news that he's got a new apartment in Kuo. Those little runts have been bitching and moaning about the poor living conditions lately. Scene change. All 9-tailed beasts were in a state of panic right now, because Shukaku and Kurama had wrecked their home again. Naruto would descend upon them with an unholy temper. Speaking of the devil, swash. Naruto stood at where his house was supposed to be, only to see Matatabi, Isobu, Sun, Kakum, Seiken, and Jiki pointing at Shukaku and Kurama who looked like they wanted to be anywhere but there. That's when it all clicked in the ninja's head. Those bastards destroyed his house, again. The huge pressure slammed on the two culprits and killer intent they've never felt before was directed at them. The air got so thick with the amount of ki Naruto was releasing, and then, all of a sudden, it all vanished. For once, Shukaku and Kurama had the same thought going through their minds: shit, we're fucked. I just wanted you all to know how much I love you. Please don't miss me while I'm gone, okay? The Tanuki of Sunas said his last words. Who knew Shukaku had a side like this? Just so you know, Matatabi, I stole money from your safe to buy an adult magazine. Just wanted to make restitution before I die, Kurama confessed. I knew it, Iro Fox. Matatabi hollered. Hey. A fox has got urges too, you know. Kurama tried to justify his actions. Naruto took a steady gait towards them, and every step forward increased the tension in the air. It got so intense that one of the tailed beasts actually farted. Who the hell was that? Kakuya, the gentle one among Hagoromo's creations, voiced a question that was on everyone's mind. I have good news, guys. Naruto yelled, leaving the Bijuus bewildered. Pack your luggage cause we are going to Kuo. What in the world? Kurama had a confused look on his furry face. I have a new mansion waiting for me in Kuo. Naruto squealed in joy like someone that hit the jackpot. What was all the tailed beasts could get out? I'm too old for this shit. Kurama shook his head, sighing deeply. Naruto and company were in front of their new home in Kuo. Starting at the little mansion, Naruto couldn't help but smile because this was his first gift in this world, and he'd be damned if he let those wild beasts destroy this one. Well guys, let's go check it out. Naruto's words were followed with a chorus of yeah from his partners in their chibi form. Wow, this place is beautiful. Naruto had a childish-like awe on his face, and was very eager to explore the house. The living room had all kind of furniture with a black LED TV on the wall, 3 couches positioned at the right angle to have a full view of the TV, a dining and a kitchen, with the master bedroom beside it, and a stair leading to the first floor. Naruto started unpacking, and brought out a blank paper, brush, and ink. It was time to fortify his new home with the new seal he was working on. Fuin Jutsu, at its basic, was ink and paper, performing impossible feats. The Bijuus were at the top of the food chain in the elemental nation, but even the majestic beast fell to the power of Fuin Jutsu. It was no doubt one of the strongest ninja arts in the shinobi's world. A whole hidden village was wiped out because of their affinity for Fuin Jutsu. It was a good thing Naruto picked up this art while on his training trip with Erosenin, bless his perverted soul. Alright, line up guys. Naruto made shadow clones to unpack and make sure the first floor was ready for use, while handing seal to them that had a specific function to put around the house. While the shadow clones were busy fortifying their home, Naruto had bigger fish to fry, and that was the chibi family he had left, and their tendency to destroy his house. No, this is a new house and that means new rules to go by, and I've got 2 rules for y'all, Naruto said with his game face on. No one. Naruto glared at the ones that had the tendency of getting into trouble is allowed to fight inside this house. If you have a beef, go settle it in a forest away from civilization. And the strongest of the 9 Bijuus just wanted all this over and done with, so he could watch that soap opera he loved so much. You'll all return into the seal when I'm out. I'm not going back into that sewer. Shikakuku's voice was accompanied by a nod from all his siblings. That's my mindscape we're talking about, Bakutanuki. This is outrageous. You're taking away our rights to free movement. Don't query my authority, Shikaku. It's either you're in or out. Oi Kurama, do something. Sorry bro, every Biju for himself, Kukuku. Shikaku muttered something about evil blondes and stupid foxes under his breath, but complied with the rules set on ground. Boss, the kitchen is filled with all kind of food commodities, and there's instant ramen too. Several poof sounds was heard all around the house to signify that all the clones were done with their individual tasks. Naruto decided to take a walk around Kuo. The hero of Konoha was walking down the streets of Kuo, taking in the sight of the skyscrapers, the cars, different kinds of cars, the billboards, the aeroplanes in the sky, and a lot of other fascinating things. There were the inhabitants, and their strange behavior and traditions. Imagine Naruto's surprise when he saw the map of the world. This world was bigger than the elemental nation by a far margin. Learning about the 7 continents, and the seas, mountain, and other wonders of this world was a very pleasant experience for the unpredictable ninja. He also learned this world has went through 2 bloody world wars. The cycle of hatred was everywhere it seems, and most of these humans don't even know that there's so much more that lurks in the dark, that all the legends and stories were all true. It was a shame really. Without magic, these humans have devised ways of traveling at abnormal speed, devised weapons of massive destruction, healed different kinds of ailments. Makes you wonder how much they would have improved if they had something like chakra at their disposal. With a heavy sigh, the child of prophecy sat on a bench in the park. He remembered the first time he woke up in this new world. Flashback, the beeping sound of a patient's monitor filled the ward where certain someone that just survived fighting a goddess for several days without food or rest was lying in. An IV drip supplied fluids into his body. In a certain sewer, a drop of water created ripples on the knee-length water Naruto was lying on. Another drip echoed across the empty mindscape. Wake up Naruto, a certain feminine voice called out to the blonde Uzumaki. Wake up. Naruto's eyes snapped open in his mindscape, and a second later he regained consciousness in the physical world. I'm not dead. Naruto tried to open his eyes, but the fluorescent lights stung. After his eyes adjusted to the lights, Naruto noted that he wasn't in his tattered jumpsuit, his pouch nowhere to be found, and his hit eye missing. He was in a light blue hospital gown, with a white flower pattern around the gown. He wondered where the Hiroshin kunai brought him. His sensitive ears pick up indistinct chatter. The smell of strong disinfectant hit his nose. He felt sore and hungry. Naruto brought a hand to his temple, to massage the throbbing headache he had. I see you're finally awake. Naruto snapped his head, to source of the voice, to see a black-haired man wearing spectacles dressed in a doctor's garb. The blue-eyed youth tried to sit up, but the pain would let him. Take it easy, you've been asleep for a week now. We thought you wouldn't wake up for a while, because your wounds were very fatal. The doctor told the awakened blonde. I thought you wouldn't survive, but you miraculously healed itself in front of my eyes, mister. The doctor trailed off Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto introduced himself. Damn. A whole week. That fight really took a lot out of me, how the shinobis pondered. Uzumaki-san, my name's Takasugi Azumi, but you can call me Dr. Tak, the doctor introduced, while helping Naruto to a sitting position and cushioning his back with a pillow. Where I was all Naruto could manage to wheeze out due to his dry throat. You're in Takeshi Teaching Hospital in Shingahana District. I have a lot of questions for you, Uzumaki-san. The doc offered him a glass cup of water. Please call me Naruto. I was never one for honorifics. How did you receive such fatal injuries, Naruto-san? Had a big fight, doc. It was a very brutal one. You have no idea. Your Japanese is great, but you don't look like the average Japanese. I tried to find anything that would identify you, maybe like a wallet, a passport, an ID card or a phone, but all could find was 3 tri-pronged knife and a headband. The doc pointed at the objects beside the table. You're not from here, are you? The doctor's entire body language shifted to that of someone on edge, and Naruto grew nervous, because he wasn't sure if this guy was hostile or friendly. I came from a very far place, Naruto replied to the doc. An illegal immigrant? Takasugi queried. Yes, the shinobis lied. What are you, Naruto-san? What do you mean, doc? I saw your wounds heal by themselves, Naruto-san. I heal faster than normal. Humans don't heal that fast. What do you know about the supernatural? Surely you must have some kind of sacred gear that grants you the ability to heal faster than normal. So what faction would want you dead, Naruto-san? I don't think I understand you, doc. My sacred gear shows me the affinity of magic in a human, and every human, no matter how many skill it was, had an affinity for magic, but you had 0 magic affinity. Magic? Like power tricks. Are you perhaps a yokai? Look here, doc, I'm 100% human the last time I checked, so stop questioning my humanity. Naruto was confused right now. All he wanted was some rest and maybe food. Ramen would have been better. Wait, does this place have ramen? I don't know what you're talking about, so if you'll excuse me, I'll be on my way. Naruto tugged at the syringe in his vein and was about to get up before his negative emotion sensing started blaring. We're not done yet, Naruto-san. You see, the people I work need special people like you in their ranks. Whether you like it or not. Naruto had a Hiroshin kunai to his throat on an instant. Calm down, doc. You don't want to do this, Naruto replied coldly. Someone is about to enter this room, and through Naruto's ward a nurse with a tray filled with drugs and water entered the ward. Ah, Dr. Takasugi, he's up, I see. Yes, I was checking up on him, to see how he was doing. The evil doctor replied casually, like he didn't just threaten the convalescent blonde. You could leave the tray on the beach beside the bed. Thank you, Kagafu-san. Naruto smiled at the young nurse, who returned his gratitude with a nod. 5 seconds later she was out of the room. We could do this with your memory intact, or do you prefer to be brainwashed? Naruto was officially pissed, and not to mention in an inner turmoil now. On one hand, he could just beat the shit out this guy, then interrogate him to gain info on this world, but that was the only scenario he could think of where the doctor did not lose his life. But on the other hand, the other scenario he thought of ended with the poor sap dying. Naruto had to make a decision, and fast. Look bro, I really don't want to kill you, so let me go, and I'll pretend like this never happened. Aren't we a little cocky, Naruto-san? After all, I'm the one with the weapon here. The doc had a crazed gleam in his eyes that Jugo had when he was high on senjutsu. TCH, you leave me no choice then. Before the doctor could blink, Naruto had him on a chokehold, with his fist dangling in the air. Takasugi was really afraid, because he just became the prey, but when he looked into Naruto's glowing purple, he knew his time was up, when the last shinobis placed his right hand on his head. Ningendo. The lifeless body of one Takasugi Azumi dropped with a dull thud. Interesting. Looks like there's more to this world than meets the eye. Put later, and a perfect replica of the dead doctor stood in Naruto's place, and the body of the doctor was nowhere to be found. Flashback end. Naruto stood up from the wooden chair he sat in to backtrack through the busy street back to his house. Coming through. The brown-haired boy on a collision course with a stationary Naruto who was having a conversation with his tenant screamed out, but unfortunately the Uzumaki was too engrossed in the conversation going on, and they collided, more like the brown-haired boy running into a brick wall, and rebounding off of it with his ass on the floor. Are you alright? Naruto was concerned about the boy, before a familiar smell assaulted his nose. A pervert, huh? You see, spending 2.5 years with Jiraiya, Naruto developed a 7th sense. That's right, a 7th sense that is activated when a pervert is within his radar. Damn. This guy's pervert aura is on par with Ero-sennin's. Issei was a little disoriented but managed to get his bearings. I'm fine, stranger. The mop of blonde hair reminded Issei of Yudo Kiba, the pretty boy in Kuo Academy. I'm sorry, but I gotta go. My mom's going to kill me if I'm late. Naruto continued on his path back home, the same path the perverted brunette took. Naruto wondered if they were neighbors, but dismissed that thought, because his perverted radar would have picked up on something. Naruto could have Hiroshin home, but didn't because he wanted to walk today, and besides, those tailed monstrosity would want out when he got home. Now, all that was left was to eat as much ramen as he could, then get some much needed sleep. Thanks for listening. If you want a next part of this video, like, subscribe and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. See you in the next video. Peace.